So one of my followers emailed me and asked me, what is the difference between a boundary and a wall? So I'm going to address that in this video. So a boundary is a line, it's a limit. A boundary is something that protects you. A wall protects you, but a wall keeps everything out and a boundary lets some things in and it keeps some things out. So both are protective, but a boundary will allow things to come in where a wall does not. A wall just cuts you off. So a boundary can be easily changed. All you have to do is make a decision and let the person know, or you act differently, because a boundary is simply what you will or will not do. So you just begin to do something differently and the boundaries changed. But a wall, you have to work hard at tearing down a wall. It's got to come down brick by brick by brick. You've got to work on, you got to put all that effort in. And just because you begin to tear down your wall doesn't mean the other person is going to tear down their wall, because people are pretty good at sensing. When you put a wall up, you're saying, I'm cutting you off. You're out of my life, or I'm emotionally distant and detached from you, not in the good type of detachment, but in the shutting myself off to you kind of detachment, where I'm not interacting you. Maybe I've lost my love for you, or I've lost my feelings for you, or I'm so protected from you and so fearful of you that I'm just completely shut down. You can't affect me. I don't feel emotion when I see you. I'm not open to any change from you. So walls take a lot of work to tear down, and boundaries are just simply a decision to change something, and then you're able to do it. It may take some thought, but once you decide you're going to do that, then you can. A boundary offers the opportunity for the other person to change and for you to see that change, since you're open and you have a relationship with them. Let's say you've given that person a boundary, but you still have access to them to where you can see what's going on. That person may change how he or she is acting, what that person is doing, and as that person is doing that and showing you things, your information is changing, and you may want to change your boundary, which you can do. The other thing is that a boundary allows the other person to see you, to see what's going on with you, to get feedback. Maybe that person at first felt that that boundary was harsh, but when that person sees you and interacts with you and sees that you're still kind, you're still courteous, but you're just hanging on to your boundary which every person has the right to do, and you're respectful about it, that person may begin to see something different about you, and that could change the relationship. And a boundary also allows you to feel your emotions and the other person to feel emotions. When you have a wall, you're just completely cut off to everything. And the emotional connection is often what changes the relationship and the things that are going on. So if you're behind a wall, again, you have no feeling, no interaction. You've basically just kind of cut the person off. You're not open to the person anymore. You're really just very shut down. In fact, you could even be using a boundary as an excuse to shut yourself off from the person and from being open to the person and to what's going on with the person. And people don't do that to be mean. Typically, they often do that because they're being protective, they're being self-protective, or maybe they don't know how to do healthy boundaries, and so they don't know how to have boundaries that allow them to just protect themselves but not shut themselves down to the relationship. It's often hurt. People have so much hurt, and then they just retreat behind a wall because they don't want to risk being hurt anymore. They don't want to risk being vulnerable to the person. So it's, a lot of times it's protective, but it definitely shuts both people off toward growing together, affecting each other, feeling the emotions from each other in the relationship, and getting closer and repairing the relationship. So a boundary respects the other person's right to have their own boundaries, but a wall is just put up to protect you, and it's kind of a one-way thing when you put it up. Like I said, the other person can put up a wall too, but if the other person puts up a wall after you've put up a wall, you don't really see it because you're so shut down that you're just blinded to whatever is going on. If you're behind your wall, how will you know if the other person is standing there wanting to have interaction with you, or if the other person has also put up a wall? You don't know because you have cut off the other person. Now, there are times in relationships to cut people off. It is when the relationship is so toxic. Toxic means to cause harm. So toxic that it is damaging to you, to your children, to your spouse, to your marriage, to your family, to where you have no choice. You have to do that to protect yourself. So be careful though about doing that if you don't have to, because when you do that, it means that you have cut yourself off, like I said, to being open to the other person. It isn't easy. It's painful to cut yourself off. It is still has reactions inside of you. There's emotions. There's emotions about the cutoff. There's effects from the cutoff. So be very careful. You might want to go to a therapist and get help in making that decision. But you don't have to cut somebody off permanently. You can if it's that bad, or you can be for a short time. You can communicate and let the person know, I need to do this for a little while. I need some time to think, some time to process, some time to work on myself, some time to get my family together, to work on my family, some distance, whatever that is. If it's safe, you can communicate that. If it's not, then you can just do that to take care of yourself. But like I said, cut off can be done in those times when it is absolutely necessary. But putting that wall up, doing that cutoff means that you have a whole lot of stuff that you've got to work through, and it's still painful. So don't think that doing that doesn't mean that there's going to be pain and that it's going to be easy for you to do that, because it's not. There's a couple scriptures. Proverbs 15:12 says, mockers resent correction, so they avoid the wise. So to their own demise, fools put up walls to keep people from being able to speak truth to them. So that's an example of a wall that somebody puts up. I'm going to put that up in front of them, that kind of boundary. I'm going to put up this boundary where I don't have to hear anything that disagrees with what I think, because I think I know everything. I don't want to hear any other truth. I don't want to hear anybody tell me what they think is wrong. I don't want to hear anybody tell me what they think is I've got to change, so I'm just going to put up this wall and keep everybody out. And then Proverbs 18:19 says, a brother wronged is more unyielding than a fortified city. Disputes are like the barred gates of a citadel. Now, this is talking about when you've offended somebody. When you've offended somebody and somebody's hurt and that person puts up a wall, you can feel it. That person is shut down to you. And those walls, like I told you, they're hard to tear down. They take time, they take work, they take nurturing in the relationship. So be careful that you don't put up walls that cut you off from somebody out of hurt or out of anger where you don't really want to put up a wall. Instead, it'd be better to draw a boundary about the specific thing that is not healthy, the specific thing that hurts you, the specific issue that needs to be addressed, and figure out what you're willing to do or not willing to do about it, rather than just putting up a wall and retreating behind the wall. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you'll check out more of my videos and also my resources on changemyrelationship.com.